When December. Again, standing here in the dark, creepily waiting for me. You know, I know we're friends, but you got to knock that off. I mean, okay? You could at least like greet me at the door with a cup of coffee. That might soften the blow a little bit. But it'd still be a little off, you know, so it's okay. It's all right. It's really good that you're here. I've just taken out some garbage. Yeah, it is cold out. It's a little cold. We've had unseasonably warm November, and now November decided to show up. It's like late to the party, but you know, better late than never, as they say. Well, I mean, if you live in Florida, it'd be, you know, way too cold. But, you know, here, this is the way that it should be. It is right with the world. And it gives me an excuse not to go outside, to stay inside and do work. You know, when it's super nice out, I want to go outside and do something. You know, I want to, whatever. You know, insert example here. Okay, I can't think of everything all at once. This is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure that you're putting on me just by like looking at me and expecting me to have, you know, examples of examples. So anyway, yeah, let's not stand here by the door. Let's grab some coffee and kind of talk about what we're gonna do. Probably a lot like we did last week. Probably the same stuff. Yeah, I know, isn't that epic? Mr. F. I mean, he makes a great background. Hopefully, he won't be a background all his life. Next spring, time to burn some rubber. Man. So last week, did a little welding. I know I was doing too good of a job. I need to stop doing that. Working on the Dustang a little bit. We're kind of in a little bit of a lull, so it's a slower pace around the shop right now. But that is okay. We have a lot to do, and so we're going to do it. There's nobody else here that's going to do it. It's up to us. So the Dustang, catch up from last week. I have ordered smaller jets for the carburetor. Once those are in, we'll plug in a little vacuum meter, and if we can get it to run, I have the plugs out right now too because I was cleaning them. They were a little dampish, if you remember. Technical terminology, look it up. And yeah, so we'll hopefully slap those jets in there and idle it, see what kind of vacuum it's pulling. It's pulling a lot. I know that. At least from the base it is, from the PCV outlet. It's pulling a lot of vacuum. But anyway, yeah, so we'll piddle around on that whenever the parts show up. Real life parts come when they come, you know? Yeah, I could plan ahead a little better, but how do I know what I'm gonna need when I'm gonna need it? I don't, you know? So get off my back about it. Drink up, drink some coffee. You'll feel better about life. And then some more welding and probably jibber jabber about Dusty. I appreciate the ideas that you've mentioned so far, but we'll talk about those. So, yeah, have a seat, and then we'll just ease into the day. How about that? It's a snowy day. It's a good day to ease into, and then we'll just put the hammer down and see what happens. Super glad you're here. I was just joking about the creepy thing. I just like to give you a hard time, so don't feel bad. Oh, yeah, I see you. You're back. I know you had to go see a man about a horse. It's not like none of us have heard that saying before, okay? You're hilarious. It's hilarious, okay? Yeah, I know I shouldn't probably be scrolling through social media. Way too much time spent, wasted, when we could be doing fun things, like welding and grinding and stuff like that. So I will tell you, yeah, last week I was feeling a little overwhelmed with this project. Something my best friend told me several years ago when I was also overwhelmed on another project was, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that stuck with me because I get lost in the weeds so easily with decisions to be made. You know, when you're building something like this, everything seems to be related to the next thing. That's my related hand gesture. This is eating the elephant. One bite at a time. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm funny too. So we both think we're funny. So that's great. Good for us. But I needed to be reminded of that. When I was talking to him yesterday, and he reminded me of that again, and he said, just enjoy the process. Be present, enjoy the process. It's one thing if you're working on your daily driver and something breaks on it, then it's not fun. You're not really enjoying the process. You're trying to fix it so you can drive to work the next day. But projects like this, it is about the process. It's about the creative process, envisioning what you want to see at the end and working toward that goal. It's about the learning process, doing things you've never done before and learning how to do that. It's about the enjoyment of working with your hands and creating something and making those decisions and seeing. And I remember feeling that way with Mr. F. I had a vision and then I'm seeing it. I built a Ford Bronco, much like this 79 behind you, and I had a vision and I saw it through. And there were some points along the way that I was like, I bit off way more than I can chew here. So, like eating an elephant, when you're eating and you get full, you just stop. You walk away, and then when you're hungry again, you come back and start eating. So it's something to be savored, experienced, enjoyed, and that's the process. So that's what we're going to do today, is start working on grinding and welding while we wait for parts for the Dustang, and then we'll maybe, when we get full over here, we'll hop over on the Dustang, fiddle around with that, and then come back to it. So I'm just gonna put some music on and start working. So, yeah, you can listen to whatever you want. I don't care. It's your ears. So, well, yeah, you're right. I do kind of usually pick the music. It's because I'm a better music picker than you. You know, you remember, you thought you were funny, and last year you played Baby Shark when I told you you could pick. And after that, I just kind of lost trust in your ability to pick music. So, what are you in the mood for? Okay. I try to be serious with you, and you never fail to disappoint. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay, we can go with that. I'm feeling it. Okay, let's go. Let's start eating. Well, that was the longest 4 minutes of my life. Probably yours too. I'm just on this side, about to take this strap off, and I'll kind of show you what's happening on this side. But my wife came in and asked me, how's it going? And I said, you know. So I'm doing what I love. I'm playing with cars, but you know, I'm trying to solve problems, and I'm trying to fix them the easy way, and then the easy way ends up being the hard way, and so then I do it the hard way, which ends up being the easy way. And I guess I'm learning, and learning sucks. I love learning, and it sucks. So I was gonna just, you know, give you some wise words about learning and how, you know, don't be afraid to do things you don't know how to do, no matter how it turns out. And then at the same time, I'm also sitting here thinking, yeah, I don't want you to see my work. It's awful. I am a contradiction. I will say that. It's much easier to say wise words and have other people follow them and then not really pay attention to them yourself. So anyway, they say wisdom comes with age. So I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. So anyway, yeah, let's walk around to the other side. Okay, I'm gonna swallow my pride, what's left of my dignity, and any sort of professional decorum. I don't know, what do you call it? Just, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm not a welder, I'm not a fabricator, and I say that to kind of excuse the results. Legitimately, but also I want to be better at it all the time. I can do basic things that need to be done in the course of work, and but to be actually good at it, the only way to do it is to get these two things involved hour after hour, frustration after frustration, and there's no shortcut. There is no easy path. And I'm telling that to myself, my brain up here. Remember, no easy path. The hard path is the path. And so just embrace the suck of it, but also know that at the end of it, if you persevere, you'll actually know how to do something. Which is great. That is its own reward. So, yeah, come over here, take a look at it, and, you know, judge me correctly. So, my work here, you know, I need to get light on it, even though that's not really what I want. My work here makes me wish that this was my work, because, you know, this is genius. But it's not. This is my work. This is my work at the point at which I quit doing it. So I tried just to, there was a whole, see this, you know, screw, whatever. There is a steel, what do you call it? Strap, whatever, that the farmer ran between the two after he welded it to kind of keep it from cracking again, or maybe before he welded it, and then he finally decided to come back and weld it. Well, this screw, machine screw, whatever you call it, had fallen out, and it's just kind of a rusty area, it had fallen out because the sheet metal just rusted away around it. So I determined, well, I just want to make it so there's no hole there. You know, makes sense. And it's good practice. You have kind of a complex line here, so I had to make a piece that followed it. I could do that, that's fine. But what I tried to do is patch it without doing that. That didn't work, so then I cut it out, put a piece in, welded it, but I hadn't cut far enough out, and or I was tacking it with too hot of a setting on the welder. So a couple times it kept wanting to pop through. So then I'd have an extra hole over here. Well, I gotta follow the hole over. Anyway, just same down here. This was a little worse. This is where that strap was. You know, it came down here. It was tacked to here and tacked to there and then to here. Well, as you will see on the other side, there was a hole down there and I wanted to fix it. Well, let's get the light. The light will show all. So this hole here, there was a strap that ran from the inner fender over to here. And that basically kept from the factory this fender from flapping around. It firmed it up. Well, when that rusted out, clearly, the farmer just stuck this strap on here to keep it from doing the same thing. Not quite as effective because it doesn't have the, you know, science. Anyway, it helped, but I'm going to cut this off. Ultimately, I'm going to put a brace behind here like the factory had it. But before that, these fenders are coming off. But before that, I'm going to patch things because it's easy to do the outside while it's hanging on the truck. So, another thing that I'm going to have to wait to do until I take the fenders off, you can see the farmer welded this up too because it was cracking. But see that right there? This whole edge, I'm going to have to create, I mean, it mounts to there, but obviously it's kind of not connected. Once I get the fender off, I'm going to have to re-grind and weld and fabricate some sort of bracket so that it will fasten back on and not flip-flop around. And the other side's very similar. It hasn't been welded, but you can see the crack. I mean, that's all cracked. So once I get the fender off, well, even this, see this? This piece used to be right here. So I've got some work to do. Thankfully, I'm not trying to make the truck pretty. I'm just, this is, honestly, this is a great project for someone who wants to get better at welding and fabricating on body panels, because it doesn't really matter, at least with the goal that I have for it currently. If it's not perfect, which it won't be, it will still be serviceable and in keeping, again, with the theme of the truck, which I keep beating like a dead horse. So, oh yeah, so here's one of the other side had a strap on it. So basically this ran from the frame and this side over, you can see kind of how they constructed it, over to the inside of that fender where it was welded on, or in this case, had a bolt running through it. So I can recreate that-ish, sort of-ish. I may actually have the left side version of this. Might have taken it off because it was just hanging, but I can also make one, you know, so. But yeah, the fenders are gonna come off. We've talked about the cab. It's gonna come off. Not today. I was actually hoping to pull it off this week, but I kind of getting lost in the weeds with the welding class here. So that's fine. It, like I told my wife, who's also my assistant, or my assistant who's also my wife. Anyway, you know, you've seen her. She's around sometimes. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. Like, I feel like the amount of time it's taking me to do this is like 10 times what it should take. And I'm right. It is about 10 times because I'm learning how to do it. And I'm doing it wrong and redoing it and thereby learning how to do it. So, yeah, I'm sure you thought you'd just walk in the shop here, hang out, drink some coffee, maybe some apple juice, and see a master at work. Yeah. Well, I can't help what you think. You can think whatever you want, but reality, it has a way of biting you in the, you know, hind end, time to time. So, we're back over here by the Dustang. So, I'm going to swap smaller jets in it because they came. I might even just go ahead and swap a smaller power valve in. I wasn't going to. What does it hurt? You know, I've got a little bit smaller one I can put in. And then we'll crank her up. I've got my vacuum gauge ready. It hasn't really run well enough to get a good vacuum reading on it. I'm hoping I can nail that down this time. So we'll just kind of take a break from class over there and see if we can win the battle of the Dustang. All right, I've got the vacuum gauge hooked up. I ran it a little bit and it was kind of indicating I still had a manifold leak of some kind. So I removed the carburetor and spacer, and actually what I found was pooled underneath there a bunch of fuel, like from previously. It had just dumped and was sitting in there. So what I think was happening after all that flood nonsense and then still not getting it to run right, we're gonna find out. But basically the engine would start, it would sound really good for just a moment until it built up vacuum, and as it did so, it was not just drawing fuel from the bowl, but it was starting to draw it in from where it had pooled under there and flooding itself out. And so it would basically have this kind of lope to it, because every time it would flood itself out, it would want to die. You'd lose vacuum, and then it'd want to run again and lose vacuum. So that is my current operating theory after discovering that. So I cleaned all of that out, resealed the gaskets, tightened this back down, still have the vacuum hooked up, and we're just going to crank it up, see if it idles nice. Yeah, you know, have courage, have faith, right? All right, let's do this. Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I said you're kidding me because I thought the battery's dead? That makes 0 sense. Or, yep, you got it. Battery's not even hooked up. Yeah, okay. Smarty pants. All right, so let's get this tightened on here. You could have told me, you know, before I went to turn the key. All right, let's see what we got. Let's turn the key on. See what we got. Give it a couple squirts. Here we go. No. Still not good. So my theory did not bear itself out. This engine is still just trying to see. It's not dumping fuel anymore down there, but okay. Actually, that doesn't look as wet as it usually does. Okay. So, what we're gonna do now is go back to timing, double check. We'll go to top dead center. We'll double check. I know these wires are right. They go in the right order. But let's get a timing light on it. Just make sure that it's where it needs to be. Because something's not happy. Yeah, so just hang out a bit. I'm gonna double check timing, and then we'll come back and try it again. Try it again. I just feel like, yeah. You know, when things aren't working, I always go back to the basics. Fuel, spark, air. Believe we've got the fuel situation sorted out. I do not believe we have any vacuum leaks. And so then we go to spark. Well, I know I have spark, but let's just make sure that we have spark when we're supposed to have spark, and that the timing is set properly. And once we get that nailed down, we'll try to start it again, see what happens. All right, I've adjusted the timing, and also I was just making sure I was getting spark, you know, under the cap still. Got the wires going to where the wires go, and So yeah, so I've just reset the base timing just to make sure we're good. So let's crank it up and see where we're at. Well, that's where we're at, just like that. Oh. I'm losing my mind. Let's just keep that between you and me, okay? I mean the losing my mind part. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, well, I don't know if you could hear that, but it's still idling rough. So, again, fuel, spark. So I adjusted the timing. I got a little bit better results from that. But then I started looking at inside of the distributor and at the points. And I don't know, it seems like it's been a year ago, but when I first got the engine running and it was just idling badly because of, well, lots of reasons, as we found out, but one of the reasons at the time was that the points were misadjusted. They weren't even opening. They were running around in the cam. They weren't even opening. So I adjusted them a little bit and got spark and then kind of just moved on. I didn't spend much time on it after that. As long as I had spark, I was moving on to try to get the other bigger issues solved. Well, we're coming full circle. Because it's still running rough, I wanted to revisit the point situation. And what I discovered, I have the points out right now. What I discovered is that the points that were in there, which were in there, they've been in there for 20 plus years, they've been firing, and you're not gonna be able to see it. I can barely see it, but it's been firing misaligned. So it's very possible we're not getting the amount of spark that we need on the cylinders. We may be getting a weak spark. So before I go any further, I'm just gonna go ahead and rebuild this distributor, put in some new points, adjust the gap properly. I may even replace this, 55-year-old vacuum Advance, just put a new one on there, and go from there. Also, I'll replace the cap. I cleaned the cap up a little bit, but honestly, it's not great. It's not great. So let's just do that, okay? Let's erase that as a possibility. This car sat for a long time, as we all know, and I don't know how long these points have been in here. I don't know how long this cap has been on here, but just by looking at it, it's very inexpensive to do, and it just let's just make that not a problem. So, but you know what that means? Waiting on parts again, which is fine. It's fine. This is the holiday season, and at least around here, and I have not made a lot of headway on anything in the shop because I've just been busy doing end of year things that I need to do. So I'm glad we got some more welding done on Dusty, and at least made, well, we did make progress on the Dustang. Discovered all of the fuel that was pooled in and got that cleaned out. Verified timing. It is idling better. It's just still very rough. So made sure there's no, obstruction in the exhaust and all that stuff. So, when you come out to your shop or your garage or your driveway, even if you can only do one thing, it's kind of what I feel like this week. If I can just do one thing, I'm moving the, ball down the field, so to speak. And I'm closer to where I need to be. Even though I'm not where I want to be. You can't have a touchdown every time. I don't know why I'm doing football analogies, but that's what I'm doing. I don't really know why. Apologize. I could do racing analogies, but I'm the only one that cares about racing. So I accept that, okay? I'm in a stick and ball world, and racing, not everybody loves it, so. All right, my best friend doesn't watch racing, doesn't care anything about racing. That's not true. It's not that he doesn't care anything about it. He thinks it's cool, just doesn't follow it. So that's fine. That's fine. Each to his own, as the saying goes, and it's a good saying. I don't have any problem with the saying. You can say it if you want to. So with that, we're gonna wrap up the week, and it's just a short week, We can't always have just amazing, productive. That's not real life, So I'm like many of you. I have other things going on. I also have to wait on the mailman, just like everybody else. And but we've got a lot of fun projects planned for after the new year. And until then, we're just gonna fiddle fart, okay? So that's what's happening here. Hey, I have a juice box fridge, I have a coffee maker. We've got music. What more do you need? Come hang out. I hope that you come back next week. I just want to say again, I appreciate you just hanging out with me. I really do. It's fun, and even on slow weeks, it's still fun. We've always got something to talk about. So anyway, I hope this week finds you well, and yeah, we'll see you next time.